Hello there and welcome back to my second channel. Welcome back to Jack in the Books. Today I wanted to talk to you about the 6 books I am absolutely determined to read this November. These are some books that I've been really excited about, and so I wanted to tell you about them too. I've been doing pretty well with my reading goals actually, so these are my piles of books behind me. This is my read pile and this is my unread pile, so we're going pretty strong. Although obviously I did take these out of the unread pile to show you, but they're going to be transitioning over in the next month, so let me tell you about these books. Firstly, we have this book. This is On Writing by Stephen King. As you know, as all of us know, Stephen King is just an icon. He is a titan in the literary world. And this is a memoir of the craft of writing, which I think is so cool. A friend actually gave this to me for my birthday because I'm here in New York studying writing, and they said this was one of the best books by a writer about writing they'd ever read, and that they still referred back to certain parts of it all the time, and they remembered certain parts of it whenever they were writing. So I think this is going to be very formative for me, and I can't bloody wait. Also, how fun is that bookmark? Can you see that? I hope you can see that. This is from McNally Jackson, which is a cool independent bookseller here in New York. So that's number 1. That's definitely top priority. I'm really trying to read a lot of books by writers on writing. So I've read like Joan Didion, George Orwell, Mary Oliver, Deborah Levy, and this is being added to that list, so I'm excited. And I feel like this is going to make me feel very inspired. The next book is this one, The Idiot, which GQ describes as easily the funniest book I've read this year. The year is 1995 and email is new. Celine, the daughter of Turkish immigrants, arrives for her freshman year at Harvard, where she signs up for classes in subjects she has never heard of. She befriends her charismatic Serbian classmate Svetlana, and almost by accident begins corresponding with Ivan, an older mathematics student. I hate when book blurbs have so many character names, like in the first sentence, because straight away that's gone completely over my head. That is information overload. But let's continue. Celine may have barely spoken to Ivan, but with each email they exchange, the act of writing seems to take on new and increasingly mysterious meanings. When the school year ends, Ivan goes to Budapest and Celine heads to the Hungarian countryside. Her summer does not resonate with anything she has previously heard about the typical experiences of college students, but rather is the beginning of a new journey further inside herself, a coming to grips with the ineffable and exhilarating confusion of first love, and with the growing consciousness that she is doomed to become a writer. Okay, so love that. You know what could have made that first sentence less confusing is if we hadn't mentioned the charismatic Serbian classmate, because she had nothing to do with the rest of that blurb. Like, why was that detail included as if it was like the most crucial thing? Anyways, that is The Idiot by Elif Batuman, and I'm intrigued. Also, the review on the back is by Miranda July, who I love. She calls it an addictive, sprawling epic. I wolfed it down, so I intend to do exactly that. But before we chat about the next book, I wanted to chat quickly about our sponsor, which is Squarespace. So thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, but also for being so easy and convenient to use. Squarespace is the ultimate platform for building your website or online store with great analytics tools, so you can make more of what the people who are using your website actually enjoy. They have a range of amazing templates, so if you're struggling to get started, Squarespace has you covered, and then you can customize and make something completely unique from there. One feature I really like is that you can make a blog on your website, because then you can give your users regular updates about what you do. Creating a sense of community is really powerful, but also just showing the human side behind your brand or your business is really important. So I'd highly recommend creating a blog. I loved doing that with my Ink Outside the Box store, because we kind of just got to give a little bit more of an insight into the products and how we created them. So take this as your sign to start creating your website or your online store right now, and head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch your beautiful new website, you can use squarespace.com/jackinthebooks and the code jackinthebooks to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. You're welcome. And please share your websites with me when you're done, because I would love to see them and get some inspiration. Next up, we have Memorial. I have gone on like a broken record about how much I want to read this book. Do you know, I feel like I did the same thing with Circe by Madeline Miller, which I just finished. That was a book that I was so certain I was going to enjoy that I was almost like saving it for the perfect moment, for the perfect mood. And I really did enjoy Circe, and I felt like I read it at the perfect time because I saved it. And Memorial is a book that I've been saving for a while, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read it this month. Benson and Mike are 2 young guys who have been together for a few years, good years, but now they're not sure why they're still a couple. There's the sex, sure, and the meals Mike cooks for Benson, and while they love each other. But when Mike finds out his estranged father is dying in Osaka, just as his acerbic Japanese mother Mitsuko arrives for a visit, Mike picks up and flies across the world to say goodbye. In Japan, he undergoes an extraordinary transformation, discovering the truth about his family and his past. While back home, Mitsuko and Benson are stuck living together as unconventional roommates, an absurd domestic situation that ends up meaning more to each of them than they ever could have predicted. Funny and profound, Memorial is about becoming who you're supposed to be, the outer limits of love, and family in all its strange forms. I just think it's such a great concept for a book, and I feel like I'm gonna love it. So this is Memorial by Brian Washington, and this month I'm coming for it. I'm finally coming for this book. A recent purchase was this one. This is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead, and this is by Emily Austen. Cracking title, 10 out of 10 title. No matter what, this is a genius title. And someone I love on TikTok, Joe, I think his name is, said this was his favourite book he's ever read, which is great because I just bought it. A brisk, hilariously poignant novel about the fragility and magic of being alive. Everyone in this book will touch your heart, says Stephen Rowley. Humour, wisdom and tenderness shine through on every page, says Sarah Haywood. I mean, it sounds so good. I'm also looking forward to just sitting in public reading this and intimidating everyone else. But this is the blurb. Gilda can't stop thinking about death. Desperate for relief from her anxious mind, she responds to a flyer for free therapy at a local Catholic church, but Father Jeff assumes she's there for a job interview. Caught off guard and too embarrassed to correct him, Gilda is abruptly hired to replace the recently deceased receptionist, Grace. It's not the most obvious job, she's a lesbian and an atheist for starters, and so in between trying to learn maths and conducting an amateur investigation into Grace's death, Gilda must avoid revealing the truth of her own mortifying existence. Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead blends warmth, deadpan humour, and pitch-perfect observations about the human condition in this crackling exploration of what it takes to stay afloat in a world where your exploration and the exploration of those you love is the only certainty. I just think that sounds so good. And also, not to get too deep, but like the fear of my friends and family dying is like my #1 top fear. Like, that scares me so much. And so I feel like this book is going to resonate with me. And I like that it's kind of taking on a serious theme, like the idea of mortality, but also has a humorous tone. I like books like that. The only thing with humorous books is that it's a risk whether the humor is going to completely land with you. And that's a completely subjective response, obviously. But I think that it's much more prevalent when it's comedy, because comedy can really, really hit or it can really, really miss. And that's entirely based on you. So I'm hoping that this is going to be my sense of humour down to a T. We'll see. But that is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. And that's on my November TBR. Next we have the book of the moment. Everyone is talking about this tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I feel like everyone is telling me I have to read this, and I'm very excited about it. Also, look at that. This copy of this book is absolutely stunning. This is not a romance, but it is about love. Two kids meet in a hospital gaming room in 1987. One is visiting her sister, the other is recovering from a car crash. The days and months are long there. Their love of video games becomes a shared world of joy, escape, and fierce competition. But all too soon, that time is over. Fades from view. When the pair spot each other 8 years later in a crowded train station, they are catapulted back to that moment. The spark is immediate, and together they get to work on what they love, making games to delight, challenge, and immerse players, finding an intimacy in digital worlds that eludes them in their real lives. Their collaborations make them superstars. This is the story of the perfect world Sadie and Sam build, the imperfect world they live in, and of everything that comes after success. Money, fame, duplicity, tragedy. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow takes us on a dazzling, imaginative quest as it examines the nature of identity, creativity, disability, failure, the redemptive possibilities in play, and above all, our need to connect, to be loved, and to love. Oh man, I feel like this is also such a great Christmas gift. Like, if you have someone in your life who really loves video games, or yeah, just loves gaming in general, I feel like this would be the perfect gift. I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you whether it's good or not, but I feel like this is, you know, I've tried to make videos before with recommendations for specific types of people in your life, and I feel like I would gift this to anyone in my life who is a gamer, you know? Because I feel like it would really resonate with them. So tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Oh, and it's described by John Green as utterly brilliant. In this sweeping, gorgeously written novel, Gabrielle Zevin charts the beauty, tenacity, and fragility of human love and creativity. Let's freaking go. And the final book that I am definitely getting around to in November is this one. This is The Crane Wife by C.J. Hauser. And I'm pretty sure this is non-fiction, actually. C.J. Hauser went on an expedition to study the whooping crane. After a week wading through the Gulf, she realized she'd almost signed up to live someone else's life. In this intimate, frank, and funny memoir in essays, Hauser lets go of traditional narratives of happiness and looks for ways of living that leave room for the unexpected, making plenty of mistakes along the way. She kisses internet strangers and officiates a wedding. She rereads Rebecca to stop fearing her boyfriend's ex-wife, and rewinds Katharine Hepburn in the Philadelphia story to understand her shape-shifting in relationships. She writes about friends and lovers, blood family and chosen family, and asks what more expansive definitions of love might offer us all. That sounds so good. And the reviews on the back say, take a break, read this, trust me, don't put it off, it's so good, and read the whole thing, it's damn good. So I guess I have to read it. And of course you can expect reviews of all of these books very, very soon. Well, in the next month, I hope. And maybe a couple of these ones too, but these are my top priorities. Okay, for this month, this one literally leapt out of the pile, so I think I'm gonna start reading it right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring it, and until next time, all the best, stay in touch, have a wonderful day, bye bye.